And now this is Luke chapter 1, verses 21 to 25. And the people were waiting for Zacharias and were wondering at his delay in the temple. And when he came out, he was unable to speak to them, and they realized that he had seen a vision in the temple. And he kept making signs to them and remained mute. And when the days of his priestly service were ended, he went back home. After these days, Elizabeth, his wife, became pregnant, and she kept herself in seclusion for 5 months, saying, "This is the way the Lord has dealt with me in these days, when he looked with favour upon me to take away my disgrace among men." How lovely. Zechariah has this encounter with the Lord, and the people were outside praying. They probably heard him moving around because the garments of the priestly garments had little bells on them, and they were there so that people could know that the priest hadn't been struck dead. And so they could have heard the little bells. So they knew, was it still in there? But why was he taking so long? And he came out, and they probably said, "Oh, I was wondering what happened to you. What did happen to you, Zechariah?" And he would perhaps open his mouth and he couldn't say a word. And then they realized that God was doing something wonderful. Probably didn't know quite what was going on. He made signs to them, it says. He kept making signs to them. Probably they didn't really understand what, but they thought, well, he's had an encounter, a holy encounter in the temple, and he cannot speak. And when his role as the priest there, he went back home with Elizabeth, and she became pregnant. And she said, "This is the way the Lord has dealt with me in the days when he looked with favour upon me, to take away my disgrace among men." God answered the prayers of Zechariah, but I'm sure he answered the prayers of Elizabeth too. And this child was going to be full of the Holy Spirit, and he would be the one who prepared the way in Israel for the Messiah to be revealed. And we'll read about that in due course.